Well, it's like
I'll wax the dye on there for you if it'll help
we're stealing that.
Here I'm going.
I'm gonna do that.
I think it's a badass idea.
I don't know. Roll for drunk.
Welcome back to Arsenic Culture. I'm Matt. We got Brandon, Jason, and Justin. Hello. And we're playing D&D, baby.
But we're doing something before.
But first, we are actually going to try a brand new beer from New Holland out of New Holland, Michigan. And this is their Dragon's Milk, aged in D&D barrels.
In D&D barrels. There's a D20 right there.
And then after this one, we are going to actually play a game of Dungeons and Dragons, which I have literally never done in my life, and I think I'm the only one here that's not
I have
playing.
played several times, but it's been quite a while.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
I've played too much.
Yeah, we play every Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with it. I've been exposed to it. I used to go to like the collectible store and get like comic cards and stuff all the time, so I've always seen it and I've always wanted to partake. I actually made up a version of D&D with my nephew when he was 7, when we would go on long car rides. And I was the quote-unquote game master. I have no idea how to play D&D, but I would be like, hey, we're going to go on an adventure. And I would let him build his character, and I would mentally try to keep up with his stats, but I would make him up. You know what I mean, as I go along.
Hey man, that's D&D.
But it was more like a choose your own adventure book.
Yeah.
Like he would do something, and I'd be like, this happened, and then like he'd do something else, and I'd be like, oh, you just got like fucked by a siren or something like that.
Oh, he's 7.
He's 7.
Yeah. It was a very adult oriented game.
Would you not condone Matt's
He chose the
playing
wrong
of D&D?
version. Yeah, he should have chose the children's version. But
This was before he was a dad.
yeah. So, but we're gonna try this New Holland Dragon's Milk that is celebrating. Is it 20 years of Dungeons and Dragons or 30 years?
50.
50 years.
50, baby.
I'm way
It's a
off.
D20
There's a 5
dice.
over there. Yeah. So, Dragon's Milk has been around for a long time. It's one of the earliest barrel-aged beers ever. Really?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, they probably.
It's not Bourbon County, but
No,
it's been around since early 90s.
New Holland started in 97, so you're wrong already.
Mid to late 90s.
Yes, exactly.
So tell us a little bit about this beer, Jason.
So this one's actually D20, so 20-sided dice is what they're going after. It's a full collab with Dungeons and Dragons. This was released in November of this year. Very limited release. I did see distro, and they sold some on their website. So the bottle, pretty pricey. This one was roughly $50 plus tax.
And the regular ones come out to around. I mean,
They're 4-packs now, aren't they? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they're probably under 20 a 4-pack.
no way.
I'm pretty sure they are. They're not very expensive.
That sound right?
Most of that price is probably the
It's been a long
licensing
time since
for
I've
that,
had a-
that D&D right there.
You're probably right.
I'll tell you what, the last time, I've had Dragon's Milk since then, but at Liquor Barn, one of our big box stores here, they had it on draft one evening, and I was drinking that. Man, it was still fantastic. So that's probably 5 years ago.
It's a great beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead.
I do know a little bit of trivia,
Yes,
only
we
because
like
I used to work
trivia.
at Alltech, who makes bourbon barrel ale.
Right, yeah.
And they were very jealous that New Holland Dragon's Milk was the #1 selling 4-pack of barrel-aged beer in America.
Right.
So they tried to make a big Imperial Milk Stout. It was not great.
Which
They
one?
tried and failed.
I think I actually tried that
Was
one.
it just the barrel-aged stout?
No, it's came out fairly recently, the last couple of years. I don't know if they even continue it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't really.
I think they
keep up
had
with
on draft at Liquor Barn too. No shit, they had like
Okay.
20 drafts, 20 taps
I would have
over
liked
there.
to know it. I remember
The market said roll for, what do you call it? Like, I don't know, roll for product placement, or I don't know, roll for
I
brand
remember
appeal.
We went to Alltech had a beer fest. They did it a couple years or something like that.
Yeah, probably 3 or 4.
And we've talked about this before.
Yep.
Me and Jason, we didn't know each other, but we were both at this Alltech Beer Fest, and they had Black Note from Bell's, which is an amazing barrel-aged stout, especially back in 2000,
probably 12 to 15.
mid to 2010s, and
We're not good with dates in case.
apparently not at all. Yeah, maybe it was like 1964, but some guy came on overhead at the Alltech Beer Fest, and he's like, "We are now tapping peach barrel wheat," and like there was a fucking drove of people just like lemmings,
the
just like
sea
flocked to
parted.
the line. Yeah. And it was like me and Jason, who didn't even know each other. We went over to the Black Note line.
Yeah.
And it was just like us and like 3 other people.
I was with Zach
And
from
we
the
just
beer
took
track.
turns
Yep.
like pouring that while everybody else was getting peach barrel wheat, which was absolute shit.
Oh yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
like
It was
the first
bad.
time they
It
tapped it,
was
and they were
very
like super
bad.
excited.
Oh,
about
it was
I thought it was
terrible.
funny.
So back to this one. So it's 20%. This is the biggest barrel-aged beer
wow.
they've done. I think Dragon's Milk's like around 10. That's
Yeah.
my guess.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's 11%. Yeah.
Yeah.
11%. Thanks, Matt.
10 to 12%. Yeah,
But
11.
I mean, 20% is a huge one. So the price tag, $50 for 50 years, I guess. You know, it is what it is. So this one's actually aged in over 1 year in 2 separate first-use bourbon barrel runs, and then blended back together. Now it does not say what type
After
of bourbon
hearing all
barrel,
this, I understand why it's $50.
right? Yeah. So question for you all. So both of you brew. Do you think there's a difference between a Pappy barrel and an Old Forester barrel? Like when you're putting beer in it or any substance.
It depends.
It
I mean,
depends,
I wouldn't
yeah.
say like any particular brand. I mean, some might impart some flavors, but generally, like if it's a really old barrel, most of the flavor is gone. So if it's like a Pappy's, 10, 12 year plus,
Yeah.
like you're not really going to get much out of that barrel.
Unless it's like it'd have to be a wet barrel to
Well, even
get
then,
anything.
like a lot of that oak is stripped
Yeah.
out. Like ideally, we try and shoot for something that's anywhere from like 4 to 7 years.
And if it's a wet barrel, you're just hoping you get more whiskey in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And get that spirit character.
So if you get like a barrel that's been sitting empty for a while, can you still use that one?
Depends.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to because if it starts leaking, it's a bitch too.
Yeah. And then you have to
You don't
like,
think about the logistics of the situation unless you're a brewer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
Well, it's
know-
like you have to rehydrate it, and make sure like if it's dried out and the staves are all wonky, then when you swell it, they're not going to like seal right, and then you're going
Right.
to have to like reseal it.
Plus, it's probably
Yeah.
like your beer's not really going to be safe in a
Yeah.
barrel that is very porous like that. Probably going to, infection, stuff like that. Other more oxidation than you want.
Yeah.
So one thing I've heard too, I mean, I've listened to a lot of podcasts, at least in the past, about beer and stuff. There's not too many of those going right now, but I always heard Corey King talk from Side Project. He preferred the younger Willet barrels, so that 4 year. I guess for the same reasons you are thinking, like it's a tighter barrel, it's not going to leak as much or whatever.
Yeah, there's still a lot of barrel left.
There's
in
still
it.
a lot of flavor left
Yeah.
in it.
That was kind of his sweet spot. I remember
Yeah.
that. So, a lot of times when breweries come up with that gimmick of, well, I mean, not gimmick, but this is aged in Pappy 23 barrels. It might not be all it's cracked up to be.
Right, exactly
yeah,
right.
yeah.
I know New Holland too. Like they actually make their own whiskey now, or bourbon. So
Yeah,
they have
I saw
different
that,
brands.
yeah.
I'm assuming they use their own. Is what I would say.
I mean, yeah.
right?
I guess. Yeah, you and I were talking about this when you got it, and I saw that they had a mead barrel-aged whiskey for D20 for the 50th anniversary for Dungeons and Dragons, which would have been cool, but you couldn't get that, could you, Jason?
No. So they
You mean
actually
New
had,
Holland
they
had
actually
a
had a
mead
box
or
set.
another-
Come up short, man.
They had a box set with this one, and then they also had like a dice set. Is that what you say? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just talking about how you couldn't get what you wanted to
I
get.
can get whatever I put my mind to, man. My mommy told me.
You have to roll for that, motherfucker.
Yeah,
I will. I got my 20 side dice. That's a 19,
Oh,
bitch.
shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
I
right.
was wrong.
Good roll.
So with this one, the pour on it, so a 20% beer, barrel-aged stout, I think very viscous, dark.
Yeah.
It's actually
Pretty
kind of thin.
Yeah.
And the edges you can see through, so it's not very dark.
Yeah.
No, it's got like a ruby hue to
It's just
it.
very much like a strong ale.
On
taste
the
in
nose,
food.
for me, it's almost like berry forward or fruit forward.
Yeah.
Is that kind
I
of
was
what you
gonna
are
say
getting?
like a.
I feel like I get some
like
oak
almost
on
like
there.
barley wine.
I get a
type
lot.
flavor.
I get a lot of like just raw oak.
Yeah, I get a lot
like-
of oak.
But I get a lot of the like just barley wine-esque flavors, like dried fruit.
I think the alcohol is fairly well hidden, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I would agree.
I would
I
not
would
have
agree
known
with
this
that.
is 20%.
No.
I actually get a lot of barley wine notes on the, on the taste
Yeah.
as well, which that's kind of welcome.
Get
and I
that
get some cola in the back.
butterscotch and,
Yeah,
like-
This
I don't
would
like.
be, this
a lot
would be
of
the
butterscotch.
definition. Definition to me is calling it an old ale. It's not quite a barley wine, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean. It's like
Like not
It's blurring the
not,
lines between some styles for sure.
yeah. It's like not diacetyl. It's just like cooked.
no.
Is it blurring the lines
Caramel.
between science and magic?
Oh man. For those who don't know, that's like our brewery's little yeah.
He's very specifically he's like, we gotta paint over
There's a whole mural side of the wall.
I hate that mural so much.
That was like your like line in the sand, like flag down.
So now about the beer, there's not a whole lot more notes I had, but before we get into Dungeons & Dragons playing, I want to give a little Dungeons & Dragons history. Maybe you all can correct us because facts are optional on our show, please. So do you know what
just
year?
play it.
Do you know what year Dungeons & Dragons was first published in?
1975.
Yeah,
74.
75.
74.
What the? Oh yeah, it's 2020. Fuck. Yeah. Like, we are in December. All right.
Math is also optional.
Yeah, fuck.
Hey, in your defense, you're off by like 2 weeks. It's like, yeah, we got 2 weeks until 2025. So yeah.
So do you
was
know
close
who
enough.
created it?
God damn it. I do know
Satan?
this. No.
Satan. Yes, Satan.
Obviously.
Besides Satan.
God damn it. Terrible with names, but
You're good.
Yeah, just go ahead.
So Gary,
Gary Gygax.
that's right,
Yeah, Gary
and
Gygax.
Dave Arneson. They ended up
okay.
not getting along.
Yeah.
There was some multiple lawsuits in there. It did not end well for those two guys.
Usually
So-
never does.
Who published it first? That was Tactical Studio Rules, TSR.
TSR, yeah.
And then Wizards of the Coast bought it in '97, which was Magic the Gathering, right? Is that what
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is?
that's
Yeah, Wizard of the
Yeah,
Coast.
I used to play
I
that
did
back
play
in the day.
Magic. I
Yeah.
am familiar with Magic. I
I
did.
got in there in Unlimited, so I was after Alpha and Beta. If
Yeah.
I would have kept my cards, I don't even want to know what they're
A lot
worth.
of money.
I joined up kind of late. So
I
didn't
sold them
have
to my
anything.
friend, and I actually might go I know where he lives. I might
I
sneak over.
I started
Magic the
playing
Gathering
in
episode.
middle school, but it was
Yeah.
probably like, what was it, the Urza set? It was just
So
after
that was
Ice
probably
Age.
yeah,
later.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little later.
I had
that
all
was
of
the
Ice Age.
glut.
Yeah. I think Ice Age had just stopped, but I remember playing when I was really young with my
Yeah.
cousins who had Alpha Beta.
Yeah, I mean, I got friends.
in
You
the
know,
90s.
speaking of Magic the Gathering, they have the Alpha and Beta. I don't think you have an Alpha one, but the Beta set, the Power 9,
Mm-hmm.
like all the Moxes, the Black Lotus. I
Good
mean, just
Lord.
crazy shit, dude.
Thousands and thousands.
Oh,
Time
tens of
walk
thousands,
and shit.
tens
You're
of
like,
thousands.
What
I had multiple time walks from
the? Shut the
Unlimited.
fuck up.
Yeah, it hurts my soul a little bit. we
Yeah,
won't talk
dude.
about that.
Brandon used to compete, didn't you?
Yeah, I played for
you
some
really?
college.
I played in high school. I'd come down here and compete in tournaments and lunch.
Yeah.
I played my roommate.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's the end of the story.
Was it like a fake fake
He's the one
friend?
that taught me how to play, and like I'm pretty sure we got like 30% of the rules wrong. So we just made up what we did. That's the only person I've ever
Dude,
played.
I quit playing Magic for about 5 years and went back to it. Holy
There's
shit.
so many.
The
There's
rules
so
so
much
much
stuff.
change. I'm like, I
The
don't even know
rules
what's going
change, really?
on. Oh,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
crazy.
I tried to
There's
play
like
my
different
nephews.
phases in phases. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
The
Yep.
stack.
Yes.
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that for like a game that's been around for 30 years, you have to
Crazy.
keep evolving it. You know,
Yeah.
it makes sense. But
When they did the expansion packs, and Dungeons and Dragons, I'm sure does too, don't they? I mean,
Yeah, I
do-
mean they sell
they
they
do
sell all
different
kinds
editions,
of
right?
books and
Yeah.
different editions. I mean, we're going to be playing the 5th edition.
Okay.
But yeah.
So speaking of editions, they really have two branches, right? So the basic D&D, and then you have the advanced. So is this basic or advanced that we're doing?
No, so
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I was going to say the basic one, and then when I started playing it, I think I still have my 2nd edition rule set, but it was the advanced, and I think it was like 2.5.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but that was if you ever played some of the games like Baldur's Gate or some
Right.
of those, it was that edition. I
Okay.
think
Okay.
was 2nd or 3rd edition, but yeah, very different. They've throughout the like editions, it was pretty number crunchy, and then it got. Well, I don't know if you're gonna. This goes into your history.
No,
but
you're good. Go for it.
5th edition, they started, went 4th, and it was, I think 3rd or 4th was probably the most like number crunchy game, and then they were like, well, we want to try to appeal to more people. Let's streamline the rules a bit,
right.
and so that's
Yeah.
this one.
I feel like we've seen like a resurgence of this in the past 10 years,
Yeah.
5 to 10 years. I mean, I feel like it's a lot more popular now than it was during that first, probably in the, early 2000s.
I agree.
didn't hear about it hardly any at all.
I agree.
And then now I'm starting to hear about it a lot more. And then honestly, bringing it to light with this, that's pretty cool.
Well, there's like this movement, and it was like up until the I guess early 2000s, it was seen as like a nerdy escapade, and it was like looked down upon if you wanted to seem cool, right?
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, it was just like doing nerdy things is cool. And then you got people like Henry Cavill be like, yeah, I played what's the shit they
Warhammer.
Yeah, Warhammer. He's like, I play fucking Warhammer all the time, and everyone's like, oh fuck, if you can do it, then I guess I can.
Well, he's also ripped and handsome.
Yeah.
He wasn't always that way though.
That's not your
you see some of
typical
his
comic
older
book
things.
guy.
I mean, he's still in great shape.
It's not like you grow a jaw like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he says that, but I'm pretty sure he
I mean, if you go back and watch some of his older stuff, he looks like he's not as jacked as he is now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
honestly.
but he still had that jaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
And
gonna
he
say
still played Warhammer.
he wasn't. He was always fit.
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
always
yeah.
a
He wasn't like
attractive
Witcher
man.
fit.
Yeah.
Right, but it
Or
became
Superman.
like it became mainstream, and it is mainstream to do this stuff, and I think it's awesome.
Oh, I had a blast. I mean, playing D&D growing up some, and then also Magic. I mean, I always had a good time, but I might have been one of the more physically fit playing at that time, which is really fucking sad. Right. But it's like comic book guy I think played with me from The Simpsons.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That guy.
I do think you need to roll your dice.
But growing up, so I grew up in the '80s and '90s, so.
Well, around the 80s, they had that like demonic like
That's
cult
exactly
scare.
what I was going to
Satanic
say.
panic.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
remember growing
the
up in Eastern Kentucky
Satanic
even,
panic.
it was like you'd have these abandoned houses places, and then sometimes somebody be in there in the evening, you see a little light flicker, and it's like devil worshiping.
Yeah.
They're devil worshiping. They're probably playing Dungeons and Dragons. Like, what? How does that go hand in hand? Like,
Dude, I grew up like
Devil's game.
I grew up like pretty strict Christian. My grandfather was a pastor at a church that housed only our family, like extended family. And there was probably it was a small building, and at any given time
The
during
compound.
service. Yeah, not nearly that extreme. Like it was
David
over on
Koresh
Bryan
was
Avenue. Yeah, it was over on Bryan Avenue, like downtown. It was in the hood, but yeah. I mean, at any given service, there was like 20 people, and we were all related. But yeah, I remember I was a kid. I was 8 years old or something, and we had Sunday school in the
Did you
basement.
drink the Kool-Aid with Jim Jones or whatever?
Well, he's with us
Maybe.
now,
Yeah,
so he
I'm
didn't drink the
still
Kool-Aid.
alive. So yeah,
Well, you might drink the wrong Kool-Aid.
I think I drank the regular Kool-Aid. But I
Sugar-free.
Yeah, sugar-free. That's what we called it. But yeah, I remember we had Sunday school for the kids, like in the lower level, in the dungeon of the church, and my aunt was like our Sunday school teacher, and we had we were all sitting around coloring in our coloring books and shit. And she's like, I just want you all to know that there's a game out there called Magic the Gathering, and it's real. And I was like, Aunt Barb, what are you talking about? She's like, Magic the Gathering is a game played with cards, and it's real magic. Don't play Magic the Gathering, because if you do, you will, what is it? You'll be one of the devil's devices or something like that. It's you will actually engage in real magic and you'll go to hell. And all I'm
As
thinking
an
is
8-year-old, I'd be like, or
yeah,
however,
I'm like-
it's like magic's real.
I'd be taking notes.
I can play it.
Yeah. What's it called again?
I'd be like, okay,
you
just
send me the link?
hypothetically speaking, what kind of spells can they cast and shit? Can you fly? Can you levitate? All I can think about is if this shit is fucking real, then how do I get in on that?
I wanna sling
I've been
some
thinking,
spells.
can I make a spell and give my teacher give me an A? I can I need that one, shit. I don't need an F. I
yeah,
need to
you
turn the
deserve
F
to
into
play
an
Magic
A.
the Gathering in the 80s, you nerd.
I would take a B, but I just need an F to change or something,
Yeah, no, all I can think about is how do I actually get real magic? But that was the ideology around back in that time, it was 80s, 90s or something like that. Satanic panic is just everything has to do with Satan, and it's real.
It's one of those things that was like a cult, I guess phenomenon or something, but I equate it to everybody knew when you had a cartridge, you'd blow in it and to make it work better.
Nintendo,
when
yeah.
that didn't do shit.
No.
But it was just spread.
everybody believed it.
Yeah, everybody believed it. Just oh, you're Satan worshippers. You're
Yeah.
playing a game with wizards and demons.
Exactly right, exactly right. So what do y'all think of this beer?
I enjoy it.
I enjoy it.
I actually like it. I don't like how thin it is, but
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
back then, this was actually standard, honestly.
If I
When it
would
was
have
made.
I
2001 is actually when it was first.
it was
Bottle.
2000.
If I would have
The
thought
original.
a little better about this one, I would have brought a regular, Dragon's Milk Stout to
Right.
try with it. I actually feel like the regular one in my mind was a little bit more viscous or thick than this one.
I agree.
Maybe
feel
the
like that,
AVVs
yeah.
kind of thinned it out. The oak,
I don't know. I appreciate kind of the
I'm with
the
it.
thin dryness of it, just with a lot of other very sweet
Yep.
decadent stouts, but wish there was a little bit more.
I
but
mean,
it's still
if you look at
it's still got a nice mouthfeel.
what beer
yeah.
nerds look at today, so Untapped, let's talk about that.
Right.
What do you think this average is on Untapped?
3.8, 3.9. Well, because it's 20%, it might be over 4.
You're talking
3.8,
about this
3.9.
bottle that we're
Yeah,
opening, the
okay.
50th.
I have
yeah,
no idea.
What do you
version.
think this would average on Untapped?
I'm gonna. Actually, I think he's right. I think it's gonna be like a 3.9, 3.8.
What do you think, Justin?
I have not looked on tap for years, and I know that their average is what, like 3
I couldn't tell you.
or
Oh
something.
yeah, I mean they're
Their
like
average
a
is pretty
more mass
high.
produced.
Yeah.
No, they're. I mean, I think Dragon's Milk's probably pretty low considering.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd say it'd be like the upper 3s.
So this beer is a 4.45.
Really?
Which is insane to me.
Yeah.
To beer nerds.
It's all ABV pulling that
Well,
way.
like,
it's
there-
all the 20%.
there's
is
things
pulling
on, like,
that way.
Well, the
Untapped
barley
where, like,
wine,
there'll be-
I think it's more of a barley wine than it is a stout.
Yeah.
Is it marketed as a barley wine?
No, it's a
No,
stout. 100%.
it just says it
This
just
is
says
not a
barrel aged stout.
stout.
It's not a
No
stout.
It is
way.
not a stout at all.
It's not a stout.
No.
So yeah,
Interesting.
failure. They
know what?
they
Fucking
rolled they
beer
rolled
nerds
they
suck.
rolled a nat 1 on that
Yeah.
one.
So you look at there's only 315 ratings, which is very low. It shows you
That's skewed,
there's
too.
not a lot of those. But
How
still,
many
though,
employees does New Holland have?
315.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't know.
I mean, if the thing costs $50, you're not going to rate it like shit. I guess you don't want to.
Yeah.
You want to save some face, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
So I
true,
like the
too.
way
That's true.
I like the way you're thinking there. But honestly, for me, if I pay that much for something, I'm actually more critical probably.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
fuck, if I'm gonna spend $50, like, I like this.
It
Now,
is
if I could-
it is a good beer.
It is a
but
good
it's not
beer.
a stout.
I put it low 4s personally.
Yeah, I'm probably 4.25. I mean, that's kind of the, it's better than a 4, I think, in my mind.
I'd be like a solid 4.
I agree. I agree with you.
But looking at it too, I mean, would I buy it again for $50? Like, what do you think, Brandon? Would you pay that for it?
No.
Yeah.
It's a one shot.
So for like
no.
other
I'm glad
for-
somebody paid for it.
So for like other
Somebody
beers,
bought you a Christmas gift. They didn't get anything in return.
It's not Christmas yet, motherfucker.
Yeah,
So
whatever.
for
got
like
plenty
other
to-
beers in
we got
that
plenty
20% ABV range, like the Sam Adams one. Have you all had that one before?
You
What are you
talking
talking
about which
Utopia?
one?
Utopia.
It's like
Yes.
26, 26.
Oh, it's 26.
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
mean,
a big one.
it's very like.
Oh, I think it might be more
Is
than
that what style is that one?
It's not.
That's just like a strong
There is
ale.
no
It's,
style.
it's not
No,
even
it's not even
carbonated.
strong.
So it's a
Yeah.
strong
Yeah,
ale,
yeah.
but it's almost like a cognac or like
Yeah,
something like that.
I mean,
Like,
it kind of. I've only had it once, but
Yeah.
I'm getting like memories of like that.
yeah,
in
the
this. It's
butterscotch
very
character
similar.
especially is
Yeah,
a connector
sure.
between those two.
Yeah.
Nothing about this is offending. Nothing's overpowering to me. I enjoy it. I'd enjoy it a lot more if it's $25.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah.
I'd probably buy it for 20. Yeah, I mean,
I would agree.
Yeah.
I'd like to sell this ball for $25 and see what it'd do in 2 years.
What's
I'm not
the
sure it'll do
I don't think
anything.
it'd do well.
I don't think it'll improve.
in your research? Did it say like what kind of bourbon?
They
barrel
did
it
not,
is?
but I mean,
We're
all it
assuming
Well, it
says-
was
their
two,
own.
right?
It was 2 separate first-use bourbon barrel runs, so like multiple ones.
Yeah.
But it has to be their bourbon barrels, right? Because they
I
make their
would
own.
assume.
I don't know why you would go out of house if you
No.
make your
Yeah,
own.
yeah.
Either way, though, back to what we was talking about earlier, I don't know that it matters a whole lot what bourbon it would have been.
Yeah.
It's more of the youth probably, so the younger barrels should hold more characteristics there. But I don't think it's bad. I mean, would I buy it again? I would to share with friends,
Yeah.
but not to keep for myself.
Well, I mean, if we're really looking at it, okay, this is a painted bottle. It's got a wax top.
It is
There is
beautiful.
a textured.
It is beautiful.
It's fantastic.
I guarantee you, the packaging for this thing alone was probably
Yeah.
several dollars.
Yes.
Like to really per bottle. So I
Right.
mean, they did a good
This
job.
was
with the present-
made for the novelty.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
made
mean,
for
they
the
marketed it
presentation.
really
It's very.
well.
It is a very pretty, aesthetically pleasing bottle.
You
What
gotta
did you say
think-
the gift set came with?
So
like
the
dice
gift
and
set,
everything?
I didn't write it down, but from my memory, what it came with was this bottle in a box
Right.
with a dice set. Like
think
a
I
little
remember
box
seeing
set
that,
to
yeah.
roll the dice into.
You have to,
That's
say
cool.
like you have to come with a dice set.
But it was
for
only available on their website, New Holland, and it also sold out immediately. Like there was no getting around it.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually
Man,
got
people,
this one.
people collect dice like
Yep.
like it ain't like
You should wax like a dice on top of one.
Yeah,
Like,
dude,
a bottle
that'd
is,
be
man.
so
Like,
cool.
With a
Oh,
dragon, with a
amazing.
dragon, man. You gotta have a dragon on there too.
Oh, dude, yeah.
New Holland, if you're watching, you should hire this man.
Yes.
for your packaging, your
Let
branding.
me ask you a question to you, D&D
Brandon be Brandon.
aficionados. Like D20 brew. What does D20 mean? I know it's representing the dice.
20-side dice.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the
But-
20-side
D20,
dice.
a dice.
D-
What I
D-
saw, it said there are 5 editions of Dungeons and Dragons. The 3rd edition formed the D20 system.
So
Did they not use D20 dice before that?
I don't think so.
in second edition, I think I can't remember honestly.
But they used dice before that.
They did.
Probably mostly 6-sided.
But I think there were like multiple hedron die that I played with in second edition, but it was so long ago, I can't remember.
Okay.
But the D20 system, yeah, it's all the basis of everything, whether you succeed or fail, is like
Right.
D20. And then there's other die for, other weapons and stuff. But like most of the skills, it's this system.
The last time I played
okay.
D&D in person was probably 99, 2000. So, I mean, I remember D20, 20-sided dice back then. Okay. So,
I guess
really?
it could be like
do.
third edition with like standardized like that type of system. Or
Okay.
that D20 system.
Because that's a big part of their marketing there, the D20
Yeah.
brew, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So I think this is great. I think $50 is expensive. I'd be happy to pay for that once to share it with friends.
Yeah.
I would never solo that because I just get fucked up. But like, it's just something that you wouldn't want to share with people.
Well, I think, you look at that, they've definitely made a few of them. So, it's probably more for, I bet a lot of people haven't opened them, just collect it, right? Like, if
Yeah.
you're a D&D fan,
I think it's great.
I would
collector's
want
item,
that.
yeah.
I would
Especially if you
want
get the
that.
die. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I'll sell you the empty bottle when we're done here.
Well, it's like
I'll wax the die on there for you if it'll help the
we're
wrist out
stealing
my-
that.
Here
I'm
I'm
stealing
going.
that.
Here I'm going.
I'm gonna do that.
I think it's a badass
Yeah.
idea.
I don't know.
roll
I for
for
drunk.
It's a 20-sided die, and every side is 20.
Yes.
or one, depending on how far along
That's
you are.
true too. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit, my pants. I gotta wash.
Don't shoot your pants.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not the one to hold on to beers, and I buy them to drink them.
Yeah, as you should.
But I would save the bottle. The bottle is very pretty.
I wish I was that person because I got too many fucking old beers at the house. Jesus Christ. You want some?
no. I hope none of them are Baba, but I'm sure there's some.
One.
Yeah. Okay.
Only 2 to 3 years old though. Nothing too bad. Matt has a bunch.
we were
Yeah.
at
I don't.
like
I've only got like 8.
He's a liar.
Yeah. Well, I've seen your cellar. It is extensive.
Well, you all want to play some D&D?
Yes.
Let's fucking get this rolling.
You want to reset?
For more Arsenic Culture, you can check us out on all the socials. We are at Arsenic Culture, and we'll see you on the next one.